For years, Samsung has been pushing power, and more power. But what happens when they pair that power with practicality and refinement? You get something that's ultra. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dave. If you're new here, I do tech reviews, and I've been living every single day with the Galaxy S23 Ultra for 2 months now, comparing it with the Galaxy Fold 4, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and most recently the Pixel 7 Pro, a video that you guys said that you really wanted to see. And so today I hope to paint a picture for you guys of what it's like to live with a phone like this for 2 months, and not only looking at it standalone, but also comparing it to other devices. I've been getting absolutely bombarded by a whole bunch of you guys in the comment section letting me know that I've been missing something really crucial to the S23 Ultra experience, and I have to admit that you guys are right, so thank you for all of the comments. In the Pixel 7 Pro video, I talk about how I love that you can tap on the G spot on the back of that phone, and it lets you activate a host of different functions like opening different applications, taking screenshots, and that's not something that you're able to do on this 23 Ultra. Well, with an app known as Good Lock, there's like an entire Pandora's box of things that you can do in there, including activating that tap function. With the cameras, one of my biggest gripes and annoyances with an otherwise like really awesome phone was that you hit the shutter button and undeniably it would just lag. It would, and even though I love the phone, I have to be objective and let you guys know that. But with Good Lock, it fixes it. Hitting the shutter button is a lot more responsive. I will say that I wish you didn't have to download that additional application in order to fix the shutter lag or to activate a really cool feature like that tapping function, but that's kind of the beauty of the Android ecosystem, that there's always an answer for something, right? So even in my iPhone 14 Pro Max video, I talk about how the dynamic island isn't something that's innate to the S23 Ultra, and then it's a more natural experience on the iPhone, but there are applications where you can download a dynamic island and it very functionally works, very smooth. If you're one of those people that let me know about Good Luck, give me an eggplant emoji in the comment section so I can give you an extra thank you. I try and give thank yous in all of my videos, but eggplants, give me some. I actually prefer the one-handed usage overall on the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the 7 Pro, and a lot of you guys in the comment section had very strong opinions on my stances in those videos, which is absolutely okay. That's one of the things I love about YouTube, interacting with you guys. I just want to make it clear that this phone is not a bad one-hand usage phone because I prefer the experience one-handed on those. Because in a vacuum, with the flatter side rails, the software implementation of the one-handed features on this device make it very easily usable one-handed. Honestly, if anything, when I first picked up the S23 Ultra, even though I have larger hands, I was really surprised by just how well the phone works in one-hand use situations. I think Samsung's done a really good job here in terms of software, just because when I'm considering other people who may not have larger hands and the overall package of a device, you're not getting as large of a display in those devices. I kind of have to take that into consideration, and so for me, the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Pixel 7 Pro are, in my experience, like more easily one-hand usage phones. But that doesn't mean the S23 Ultra is bad. There's a lot of accessibility here for those of you that want a larger screen for your social media usage or your content consumption, watching videos or games, of which my stance on the screen on this thing has not changed at all. It is absolutely remarkable in basically everything that you're doing on the phone. The 120Hz refresh rate display is incredible, and the colors are just so punchy and crisp and vibrant. The screen on the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Pixel 7 Pro are really good, but the display on here is just incredibly difficult to beat. Samsung nailed it out of the park, whether you're playing games or watching YouTube. Basically, no matter what it is that you're doing, getting a beautiful experience here. Gaming is the same exact way. I love gaming on phones. I'm playing Higgin, Urthiel, one of those, Punishing Gray Raven, Genshin Impact on this device, and all of them run exceptionally crisp, at maximum everything. The graphics look excellent, the frame rates are exceptional, and you can use all of those additional bells and whistles like the bloom and the anti-aliasing that you want to use in those games, and this is just going to power straight through all of that. Now, that being said, power was never really the problem with Samsung devices historically, right? Like, they always were very capable phones that could power through a lot of multitasking, a lot of heavy gaming, but the question mark was always the software experience behind all of that, right? The the everyday usage, opening and closing applications, sifting between different applications. And that was something that, for me anyway, I kind of took a break on Samsung devices because they always kind of lacked in that regard, right? Like the Pixel 7 Pro, for example, the Pixel series period, have never been known for being strong devices. But what they nailed year after year was the software experience that was smooth, fluid, and responsive all the time, no matter what. That hasn't always been the case for Samsung phones, but on the S23 Ultra, man, they've nailed it. On the S22 Ultra, I did a 1-year review of that phone, and with software updates, like, they've really honed in on that experience. That phone's really smooth as well. You're not getting the same battery life as you are on this 23 Ultra. Samsung is really tight a knot on bringing together a full cohesive experience, one that's not only powerful and feature-packed, but one that's also just pleasant to use because it's refined now. And that's something that's been one of my favorite things using this phone over these last 2 months, that they really just knocked it out of the park in that way. Now, of course, you have the S Pen, and this is something that I've discussed ad nauseum in my last few videos, and if you've watched any of them, you're probably sick of hearing me talk about how I use this for like my clinical work and also like other life applications. So I guess I'll cut this portion a little bit short. It's awesome, it's fast, it's responsive. It's actually a more responsive experience than on my Fold 4, which again, in a vacuum, on the Fold 4, it's smooth and responsive, but it's not until you compare it to this directly that you realize that this is just much more responsive than on the Fold. In terms of battery life, the S23 Ultra has gotten quite a few updates since its release 2 months ago, and over that time, I've been looking out for maybe an update that kind of like messes with the battery life a little bit, where there's some more idle battery drain or something like that, that seems to inevitably plague phones at some point throughout their lifespan. Again, the S22 Ultra has gotten better in that regard. The battery life on this is every bit as enduring as it was when I first picked up the device. In my 1 month review, I lay out like my average workday, what that looks like, and talk about how this phone can get me through that entire day with no problem. That is still the case. Not quite so on the 7 Pro, definitely so on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, not quite so on the Fold 4, that can get me like most of the way there. But on the S23 Ultra, if you need this to get you through an entire workday without the fear that you need to charge up, it's gonna get you there. Haptics on a phone are historically, for me, not something that's like a game breaker. And when I first picked up the S23 Ultra before comparing it to other phones, is something that like, I thought the haptics were fine enough, but it's not until I really put it beside the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Pixel 7 Pro that I realized that those phones actually have better haptic feedback than the S23 Ultra, which is weird because like this is such a premium device in every single way. You'd expect that checkbox to also be, box to also be checked off, but it's better on those phones, just flat out if I'm being objective. In a vacuum, you probably won't notice that these haptics are like not as good as those, like they're fine enough. The comparison video between this and the 7 Pro, there was a portion with the 10 times video zoom, and you guys were not happy at all about how that looked. Honestly, guys, when I was first recording that, I had to go through that 3 different times because it looked really weird to me too. It didn't make sense that it was that pixelated at all. But I kept on getting the same result. I reran some tests to see if I got different results. I'm going to show you guys some stills and video, and I'll let you guys decide what you think. Detail. This is that portrait video mode. It looks great. The color tones look really good. They're a bit better on the 7 Pro, but like, you're getting a really good experience here. So I'm here in the viewfinder, and if I go from here all the way up to 10, it does not look great. However, if I stop the video and in the viewfinder, instead of going from there, I go to 10 times before I jump in, as you can see, we get a really nice crisp image from far away. And here going all the way up to 20 times. So for those of you who are looking to get the most out of your zoom and are wondering why the heck you aren't able to just jump to it, start in the viewfinder first before you hit the video, and then you're able to sort of jump up You get a really nice image. Again, watch the Pixel 7 Pro video if you're looking for maybe a comparable solution to the S23 Ultra that's not going to quite hit all of the bells and whistles on this. However, is going to give you a strong comparable phone experience for several $100s less. If you're new to the channel, again, want to stay up to date with what I'm doing next, want to join me on this journey, hitting the subscribe button's the best way to do so. Thank you guys so much again for stopping by and hanging out. I wish you an amazing day, afternoon, or night, depending on the time it is you are watching this. And as always, peace, love, and adios, guys. Have an awesome remainder of your day, and stay awesome. Bye.